It's time for arguably Australia's #1 beer podcast, The Step Brewers. With your hosts, Papa Sweden and the Pilly Panther, formerly known as the Juice Wolf. Oh, and the Weg. Take it away, boys.
Jeez, thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Dennis. It's good to have you here, Dennis.
Get around, Dennis.
Wow. We're here for yet another episode. We've jumped straight out of time and barrel, straight into the good shit.
For now.
Got some ripping guests tonight. I'm your host, Papa Sweden. With me is the incomparable Pilly Panther. Back on the desk. Clearly back on the desk tonight with that delayed reaction.
Still, finding the ropes. Feels good.
Still learning a few things. Now, I wanted to start off the episode before we bring on our guest with a little update.
Right.
I've been given some glorious gifts over this past birthday month.
So you have
Cancerians, we celebrate birthday months, you will find.
good cancer energy.
Good cancer energy. Now, my boy Benny from Fox Friday decided he would give me one of these juice box glasses because I hate them so much.
It's a classic stitch up, but I'll tell you what, it brought us all together. You know, before that, it was a bit of tension.
So from now on, I'll be drinking all my Juicy Boys on shows from the juice box, and that is awfully disappointing.
That's not nice. Not nice at all.
Not at all. But Benny, I do thank you for that wonderful present, and for all the fans of the show who sent some love. A lot of people sent pictures of black IPAs.
Great.
So get a black IPA up you.
Celebration of choice for the evening of Klimt.
It was very good. Now, how have you been, young man?
I've been very well. Very well indeed. Yes.
Busy boy.
Been a very busy boy. Lots of changes on my end.
Do you want to talk about that very briefly? No, really?
No. No, I can. I can say I'm officially in the industry of beer. So, joined the team at Fox Friday over the last few weeks, nearly probably a month now, as time this comes out.
Lovely.
So, no idea what I'm doing. I'm straight in the deep end, and it's exciting. But it also means I might have to
Tone it back a bit.
tone it back just a little bit. Just a little.
You fucking
It's fine. I can still be myself, I'm sure. But
do
it's
love
nice to be officially in the industry, learning lots already.
Not just a spectator anymore.
That's right.
Now when you bag me out, I have to take it on board properly.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Now, our next guests. It's been said that if you shake off his boots at the end of a brew day, you'll find a little hop dust, a load of enthusiasm, and a healthy dose of good vibes. While he does love to create his own beers, he'll never say no to a collab, especially because it's an excuse to have a chinwag of others in the industry. It's the master of mash tuns, a father of frothies, if you will. Oh. John from Sea Legs Brewing, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, fellas. Happy to be here.
Oh, look, really,
as good an
really
intro
excited to
I've
get
ever
Sea Legs
had.
on.
Sea logs.
Sea Legs.
Sea logs.
Sorry.
Sea legs.
Sounds like a future brew
It's
name.
been a raw week.
That's right.
Now, it's said that when she was born, she refused bottles of milk and would only drink clean fermented Pinot Noir from a screw-top bottle. You'll often find her in the brew house pondering a wine-beer-style hybrid or a beer-styled wine hybrid that could be released. It's our bustling brewer, pink boots wearing Abby from Sea Legs.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome. How lovely to have you here also. Now,
Thank you.
we have to thank Sea Legs for sending some frothies down.
We do have frothies in front of us.
And
You've poured something. I should probably pour something as well.
yeah, a couple of little cheeky pale ales. Not going to lie, Brendan from Sea Legs did look after us, and we've had some lovely little beverages. You and Wego were wearing your Sea Legs hats at Gabs recently.
We were indeed.
And
very nice merchandise from Sea Legs.
You were very impressed. And I'm very excited to get amongst this in a moment. But before we do that, ladies and gents, starting with you, Pilly Panther, what has been delicious in your glass of late?
Well, kicking still on with the cancer season that was.
Cancer season.
We had your bottle share. So I think there was a lot of highlight beers at that bottle share. One
Lovely.
in particular was the Hill Farmstead Saison. But in particular for me, beer of the night before I left was the Parish Bourbon Barrel Aged Riz.
That was a sleeper.
That was a real sleeper, and opened very early in the evening. So
It was.
Can't say I'm still drinking it, but it was something definitely a highlight of the last few weeks.
Now,
What about you?
I had a bit of a rip on Australian beer lovers for leaving this glorious Magnum on the Three Ravens website.
Why are you the way that you are?
It's still available for purchase at $60 at that time.
It was not.
And I told Australian beer drinkers how disgusting they were. That's a Woods of the North Magnum that I purchased for me and my friends, and we opened that at the bottle share, and it was a fucking delight, I will say.
Let me just say I'm still glad I've got mine because it was very nice.
A little later in the night, I cracked into a little bit of Bourbon County 2021 Weller collaboration.
Very nice.
I believe that was fantastic.
Okay, that's good when you can remember how good those special beers are.
Absolute ripper. Absolute ripper. Abby, best beer you've had of late?
Yes. I'm not gonna lie, I just had a really nice, just clean, simple, easy to drink IPA. My parents went and visited Cairns and brought me back some IPA from Coral Sea
Oh, yeah.
Brewing, I think it's called. And yeah, it was like nothing crazy. It was just a really nice IPA. I just really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's probably one that I enjoyed recently.
Love that sulfates over chloride, gang. Rise
Yeah.
up. John, what about you? What have you been drinking good of late? What's been a highlight?
Oh man, probably some Fox Friday actually. We've one of our good mates Joey brews down there, and yeah, he sent up a bit
Good
of a
homie.
he set up a bit of a mixed four
Do
pack,
like
and
Joey? He's a lovely man.
yeah, we've been through two of the beers, and man, pretty impressive. So pretty impressive at the dry hop rates they're using, and man, pretty soft, pretty smooth, really good, really good. So we've got two more to crack
Yeah,
through.
we're just the boys are definitely dialing in the system before they shut down that little system and have to brew on a much bigger kit, which I'm sure the boys are definitely used to. But
Well, I mean, unfortunately, in your vein of treatment of people on the show who own breweries, we shall never talk good words about Fox Friday ever again.
no, we can't. No.
Oh, well. It's a shame that John brought it up, but I love that energy.
Yeah, well, if you bring it up, then I will be very excited.
Now, Step Brewers Podcast is brought to you by Preachers Hobart, our partner for live events in 2021.
Yes.
We haven't been doing our little winter live event at the moment. We've had a few little delays, but anyone who was at the summer event, you know what we did. We brought the heat. Mr. Banks. We had some Deeds kegs there, Wildflower, Ocho, Currumbin cans for the audience. It was absolutely stellar, and there will be more live events coming very soon. So thank you to Preachers Hobart for all the support and, as you would say, the cabbage.
If I were to give you some money out of my wallet, would that ease the pain?
And I do love cabbage.
Now, we also are brought to you by our Patreon, who we couldn't do this without. And I'm fired up. Kane Davies entering the group.
Yes, thank you, Kane, for joining the official friends of the show tier.
Definitely.
Do appreciate you joining up with the crew.
Now, producer Emily is going to be setting up with us a very special Pink Boots tier soon. So we'll keep you posted on developments there. We're going to do a little bit with that for Pink Boots. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We want more Pink Boots ladies in the group. So that's going to be great. But until then, why don't we just like and subscribe the video, hit up the YouTube algorithm, and hit some sip skip.
Look at you go. That's beautiful.
It's because producer Em wrote it down for me.
That's very nice. I like producer Emily very much. Let's do sip, skip, or sell. Now, guys, sip, skip, or seller. I know we've given you a little bit of a briefing before we started recording, but we'll run it through you guys again. Sip, skip, or seller is now brought to you by
What?
the Great Beyond Coburg Bottle Shop, which is very exciting. So I will have a choice from our very good friend Ryan at Great Beyond Coburg right at the end. So got 4 beers for you guys to run through. And I want to know from everyone around the virtual table right now if you're going to sip the beer, you just want to try it, skip, doesn't sound like it might be something you're into, or seller, you mean you want to stock up on that beer, buy as many 4-packs or whatever it is,
Stack them in a can wall.
don't do that.
Stack 'em in a wall.
Don't do that.
We need to build a wall.
But I'll kick off with something from Range Brewing called the Boiling Point IPA, sitting at 6.7%, a continuation of last year's Celsius versus Fahrenheit series. They have taken the base Fahrenheit base of Citra Mosaic, Simcoe and Cashmere water combo and added plenty of the Celsius Galaxy as well, ending up with an IPA with plenty of mandarin and passion fruit vibes. Sounds delicious. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't had a range beer in quite a while, so don't know.
have.
Have you? What did you have?
Brewers Feast. I was hooking into some little Imperial stouts with Matt from Range.
Lovely.
It was a lovely time.
That sounds
It
great.
was.
So me and you are pretty much friends by now, right?
Do love the crew up at Range, and if I can get my hands on Range cans in Tassie for certain things, don't know, I would like to be doing that a lot more. So for me, it's a sip. Sounds great. Great hop combo. I'm interested. Nice smashy ABV range of 6.7%. Hitting all the ticks for me. What about you, Clint?
Now, Celsius Fahrenheit series, I think this is what they might have won the awards with.
I think they
from
did.
memory. So
yeah.
good to see that energy continuing. Yeah, look, I'm gonna sip that. I'll see what that's like.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, they do haze quite well. Abby, what are you going to do with this one?
I'd have a sip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit that up.
Yeah.
You're friends with the Range guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you're not super convinced
No,
there.
know them, so
if you
yeah.
want to throw shade, that's fine too.
No, yeah, I'd definitely have a sip. Always an IPA fan, so
Very good, very
I'd have
good.
a sip.
What about you, John? Are you going to be sipping, skipping, or cellaring this one?
Oh, it'd definitely be a sip for me, man. Yeah, if it's anything like the two they did last year, I'd say it's pretty solid. Takes a lot for me to sell or something, but certainly sip it. And yeah,
for sure.
they're good peeps over there, so get along well.
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely. It sounds good. Another one from up that way. Ballistic.
How good, mate.
Very good, mates. Now, Ballistic Crew, this is the latest in their Twang series, Guava and Raspberry Mojito. Nice little smashy number here at 4.6%. A tasty take on the Cuban highball cocktail, full of raspberry and guava, additions of lime and mint. Interesting beer to release in winter, maybe. That's you never know, but you know, you can, if it's stout season all year, can it be sour season all year? I think yes. You know, or it could be a nice wedge.
Little palate
between
cleanser.
some dark beers. So I do like all things Ballistic. Can't say I've had any of the Twang series. So in that case, guava and raspberry mojito. I'm a sip.
Yeah, I'm a sip on that. I like the Twang stuff. It's just fun summery beer.
Yep.
Nothing mind blowing, but I'd get around that. Around Jakey boy.
Could have done with a few Twangs at the bottle share recently, I think.
A few low ABV
There was
options.
a lot of stouts at the bottle share. Anyway, that's never an issue, really, is it? Abby, thoughts on this one?
I love a mojito, so I'll go sip.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Good energy.
That is good.
Yep.
Very good energy. Say no more. John, and your thoughts?
Ooh, I'd probably pass on it, man. I think it's more of a personal thing. When I get like lime in a sour beer, it's a bit too much for me, and just kind of late in the palate. So it's almost like leaves a heartburning type thing. So otherwise,
like in a kettle sour.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of all things Ballistic, but yeah, you kind of get the lime mojito-y or like margarita type of thing going on. Doesn't agree with me, man.
It's just a palate thing. Everyone's got different preferences and tastes. So
you can't catch them all.
For me, it's coffee. So
Yeah, agreed.
Yes, I know. Well, good coffee can be good.
Oh wait,
but,
is there coffee in this beer? No,
we're fine.
Okay,
No,
okay.
Where everything in balance is great. Anyway,
just make Speedway.
Yeah, that's right. Just make Ale Smith. That'd be fine with me. Kicking on to the next one, guys. Aether Brewing. The Respite Breakfast Stout sitting at 8.2%, part of their Oak and Organisms Barrel Age project, which sounds bloody great. 12 months barrel aged obviously in barrels. They mix it with oats, almond, coconut, dried fruit, a very dark and moody can art to match this one as well. I'm going to sip on that. There is coconut. Coconut and I aren't always friends, but look, it sounds bloody great. And this Oak and Organisms Barrel Age project does sound great.
I'm going to skip. I don't know. I'm just not feeling the descriptor.
Okay.
I don't know about the almond. I don't know. I'm leaning
almond
towards
in
a
beer.
sip, but I'm going to skip at this stage.
Okay, that's fair enough. Abby, what do you think about this one?
There's a lot going on, but I'm always intrigued by barrel-aged beers, so I'll have to sip it. I can't help it, but I'll sip it.
There is a lot going on. I think that's what's thrown me.
I think if it was just a normal, higher ABV stout without barrel, I would not be interested whatsoever. But
It's 8.2%.
it is 8.2%. So how much
barrel?
How much barrel character are we getting? Who knows?
Who knows?
You have to sip it to find out. So that's good to know. And John, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, you get to barrel-aged stouts and you get close to cellar territory for me, but I'd say it's definitely a sip. There's heaps going on there, but I'd call it a sip and maybe potential for a cellar after
A man after my own heart. Very good. And look, we've got one final beer, and this one is from our friend Ryan at the Great Beyond Coburg with a little sleeper. Doesn't always have to be a new release with this little beer.
That's what we sort of discussed with the Great Beyond was great at choosing things for customers and selecting things a bit like left field and maybe unheard of. So touching on that vein.
Yep.
Giving Ryan and his team a bit of a platform to promote someone. Who have you got?
He has chipped in with Foreigner Brewing and their Silent Hunter Czech-style Pilsner, 4.8%, traditional decoction mash pills with plenty of SARS for a nice clean bitterness, and super crushable. Now, we had this at Gab's, and I think I went back for another one. It was so good, and one of my favourite beers at Gab's.
Yeah, I do regret not chatting to those guys because we got booted out at the last minute. But I already know your answer.
Yes, I have cellared this.
Stocked up, did you?
I have bought a case from Ryan, actually. So I had 24 lovely cans of that arrive at the fridge, and I've been slowly knocking them back over many, many weeks. So it is a seller for me. It's a great beer and one of the best iterations of a true Czech Pils made in Australia.
Interesting. I also have had this a few times. I'm a big seller. I'll be stocking up and chucking a line of that in my fridge. My problem is, Pilly Boy, that spot in my heart is taken by Mr. Banks Foam.
Yeah.
And I mean...
Well, that is coming back. He did post on socials, fairly recently, and word on the street is he's trying to get it as to maybe be a core range beer, which will make your heart very, very happy.
Very full, very full. Look, Foreigner Brewing Co., Silent Hunter Czech-style pills. I love the concept of highlighting a lesser-known producer. So just for that reason, stock me up. I'm a seller. I will buy some more of it to show them some love. I love a small indie brewer.
Yeah, we'll have a detailed review of that beer going on socials as well, if it's not up already. So, Abby, what do you think about this one?
I'd have to go sip again. It sounds pretty good by the sounds of it. But yeah, I'll just have a sip. It's good.
If we couldn't sell it to you just then, we haven't done our job.
Are you a lager fan, Abby, or not?
I enjoy lager, yeah.
All right, we might unpack that a bit when we talk about your brew style.
And John, what do you think about?
Oh man, you guys, I'm a big fan of a really well-made pilsner, gosh, you guys got me on the tipping point of cellar. I was probably absolutely a sip just from the descriptor, but man, probably on the fence to be honest. But yeah, huge fan. Yeah, outside of the barrel aged stuff, when you get to cellar stuff, it's really, really well made classic styles. Really tick with me. So sounds like a great beer.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a great beer.
Brewers beer.
You'd be a big fan of probably the Deeds Knock on Wood barrel aged Pilsner then.
Yeah. I just had one of those about a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah, bloody good beer as well. Very good beer.
Tasty beverage.
It is.
Well, thanks to the Great Beyond Coburg.
Well, we do thank the Great Beyond Coburg for jumping on and sponsoring a segment. That is very, very horny content. So
It is.
yeah, that gets me up and about. But I know enough games. Why don't we chat to these two guys and find out about their story, shall we?
Let's get it.
Now, guys, Abby, John, we do officially welcome you to the show.
Oh.
We'd like to know a little bit about your story, I guess. So, I mean, this year at the Steppies Awards, you know, one of the best beer awards you can be possibly be nominated for, all of the above. You won the most improved for Queensland during the most recent awards. So, congratulations. I'm sure you knew about it and you're really fired up about it. So, congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely honored, and
Yeah, thanks.
yeah, it's good. It's good to see, and yeah, it's good to see that. I guess what we're doing is being noticed. I think we've had a lot going on the last year or so, and yeah, no, that's great. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I think it was a pretty good year for Queensland beer in general. So, I mean, the panel we selected across Australia were some of the best beer geeks, industry people, and, you know, in the Queensland group, there was really strong chat for Sea Legs. So, yeah, awesome to see. As soon as we were reading all the opinions of our judges, we were like, well, we need to get some Sea Legs, clearly.
we did.
And we did.
Yeah, and it's been really, really good. And this pale, may I say, is absolutely delicious. But what does it mean for you guys to be consistently improving and getting recognised for such an award by industry people?
Oh, I think it means, man, it means a lot, because, you know, we're in the business of making beer, and making beer comes down to making something that's high quality. And, you know, the best way to find out how well something's made is to, you know, just leave it up to the general public or other industry experts, and hearing, you know, that that's the case. It's really good. And, you know, we put a massive focus on detail and trying to make everything really well thought out, and try to structure a beer and build a beer as good as we can, and try to keep the quality as top notch as possible. So it's really good to hear it, and it's, you know, you hear it from other people in the industry, and it's awesome. It means we're doing something right. So yeah.
Yeah, well, you must be doing something right. I assume that I think it's you guys who have had those big fermenters rolling through town, rocking up, a bit of a little upgrade. I saw on social media people trying to guess what it was.
Yeah, we had some recently. We've also just had a canning line arrive.
See that.
Yeah, we're about to order some more tanks, actually. So yeah,
Very
we
nice.
just ordered some more tanks. So, and that'll put us maxed out where we're at. So it's a small space, but
might talk about that space in a minute.
Very good. Now, Abby, tell us a little bit about how you came into beer. I mean, as I understand, you're from a wine family, so it sounds like you've all, you know, it sounds like you've also been able to travel the world with your winemaking skills as well. So, how did you end up in beer?
Well, yeah, like you said, I come from a wine background, and my dad's winemaker. Grew up on a winery in Tambourine Mountains, so when it was time to come to uni, didn't know what else really to do, and I really enjoyed the work, and yeah, just being like really practical in that sense. And so went to Adelaide University and did my winemaking degree, and went over to California on exchange in my third.
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah, it was really, really cool. So I went to UC Davis over there, and they had some brewing classes that I went to, and obviously the beer over there is, yeah, it's quite ahead of Australia. And yeah, I just got exposed to quite a lot of different breweries and beers, and I'd already done like a couple of home brews with Dad back at home, and yeah, I just got super into it. And so when I came back for my final year of winemaking, I continued into brewing classes, and then yeah, I was like, why not do both if I can? Because it's why not? I enjoy doing it. I think it's really interesting, and yeah,
I
that's
think
kind of a little bit how I got into it. So
UC Davis, you know, worldwide, and especially, you know, you might attest to this, John, in America, is, you know, very widely regarded in terms of their brewing program. So that's amazing that you got to, you know, go along to some of that.
yeah, no, I was very, very privileged to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. And then from there, straight out of uni, did you go straight to Sea Legs, or did you go anywhere else in the meantime?
Yeah, so I'm from Queensland, and I wanted to come back home and work in the brewing industry. So yeah, straight out of university, I started working at Sea Legs.
How good. Are mum and
Yeah,
dad disappointed, or?
they love it.
Oh, good.
Especially Dad loves all the beer, so they're pretty proud and pretty stoked. So
Now you get the best of
yeah,
both. You
they're
get good
happy.
wine, good beer. It's all good.
They're proud.
Yeah,
They're proud. They've let me know.
they're proud.
Do you give them a bit of shit now about, you know, winemaking and beer making? Like you're just pressing the grapes, like you're just part of the environment.
Yeah, so what do
got
you
no
do,
real
right?
control. You hate Brett so much.
Yeah, we know what I was going to say. Is
Yeah.
that you should start a wild ale program and start really talking about Brett a lot more.
Just all the time.
Oh,
Coming
right.
home.
I don't think I'd ever be allowed home if I brought Brett with me. Jeez.
You just come home on the weekend and be like, oh, I feel real bready today. I've just been covered in bread
Yeah.
all week.
They'd be like, get out.
How good.
Very good. And John, also same question to you, I guess. Like, how did you get into the industry? What's your little story there?
Yeah, so well, I'm a long time a home brewer. I'm from the States originally, and yeah, I moved to Australia in 2013, and I was an engineer at the time, and I had just intended to travel and work internationally for a period of time, and about a year after I moved here, I met my now wife, and yeah, we've got a couple of kids, but it kind of started to look like I was going to stay here, and so I went to Bunnings and bought an esky and a big stock pot and some copper, and built a fresh homebrew kit, and yeah, I just started homebrewing again, and a couple of guys I worked with at the time kind of started partaking, and next thing you knew, we were opening a brewery. So yeah, that's kind of in short how it all evolved, and yeah, opened the brewery, and here we are, no longer an engineer.
So,
It's gone a long way from like a Bunnings kit to
It has, yeah. I still
buying new stainless in a canning line. You know, that's quite cool.
I still have the homebrew kit under the house, and I trip over it every now and then. Like, why do I keep this?
It's a memory. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is. It was pretty rickety by the time it was like at the end of its life.
It'd be amazing to think how many breweries in Australia and also the States started with, you know, an esky, or what are the coolers? What are the coolers in America that everyone uses? The big, big round red.
Yeah, it's called
ones.
Oh, bloody hell! I'll think of it.
Yeah, look, you're more Aussie than anything. Oh, bloody hell.
I know, right? Yep.
You've lost that.
Totally.
Hey, where in the States were you from, John?
Colorado.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, sure. Okay. That sounds terrible.
Just city of beverages.
Yeah, it was a good spot. It was a bit of a pipe dream when I was there to open a brewery. I didn't quite have the money, and like it was so competitive, and I wasn't quite at any kind of massive, commercial level. So, but
yeah. Do you draw on any inspiration for the beers that you guys make from the States, and in particular from Colorado, or is it just whatever?
Yeah, there's a bit of there's a North American influence for sure. I don't know if I'd say specifically Colorado, but we like our beers big and pretty punchy in general. I mean, our pale ales, it's intended to be a bit of a West Coast style pale. It's 5.6%, which is pretty average for an American pale ale, but I mean, in the Aussie world, it's a bit different, you know. So
I was gonna say, like, it is definitely like like, I don't always reach for a pale when I'm buying a beer, but this is like this is a kind of pale that I'm into, like getting into the craft beer world. I'm always looking for like Sierra Nevada and stuff like that when I was coming into the world, and this sort of gives me that little bit of that danky vibe, which is absolutely delicious and a real crusher. So I'm very impressed with this beer.
I didn't realize the booze was so high in it because it's just super drinkable. Like, very, very tasty beverage. All of the Coleraine stuff you guys sent, the tropical lager, the milk stout, the pale, they were all like extremely banging beers. We were very impressed just by the drinkability. Like, it certainly brings that.
Yeah, thanks. Awesome.
No. So, with that said, I want to talk a little bit about the setup. So we've talked about the cooler, which is amazing, but I want to talk a little bit more about like what you guys are brewing on. So maybe starting with you, Abby, in terms of the brew house, like size, vessels, what are you guys doing if you want to break it down for? We have a lot of brewers listening to the show, a lot of beer nerds who want to be brewers, basically want to be you. What are you brewing on day to day?
So we've got a 3-vessel, 15 hectoliter brew house. It's mash tun, lauter tun, and kettle. So that's what we're brewing on. And in terms of fermenters and tanks, we've got 4 3,000 litre fermenters, 2 1,500 litre fermenters, 1 3,000 litre bright, and 3 1,500 litre bright tanks in the brewery at the moment. So, yeah.
Nice. And so you guys, so I saw a few pictures on like different beer groups. There was some big ass looking fermenters on the back of a truck. And I think maybe someone tagged you. Everyone in the comments was like, "Who's this? Who's buying these?" And I think someone tagged you, and I was just like, Sea Legs.
Maybe. I might have missed that. But not like John said, not too long ago, we got a couple more 3,000 litre fermenters in and a 3,000 litre bright. So definitely.
You got some capacity running. That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty tight, but definitely gonna maximize the space as much as possible.
Now, like before we get onto the space and talking a bit about the canning with John, have you got anything fun or custom on your brew house? Anything fun people would want to know about, or are we pretty straight up 3-vessel?
So what was that?
Do you have any fun custom stuff on your brew house, or are you just a pretty straight 3-vessel brew house?
I'd say it's a pretty straight 3-vessel.
The most fun part about it is that it's very manual.
It is very manual. Yeah,
No fancy.
I mean, you get your steps in brewing.
Bit of fitness to earn the.
You definitely get a bit of fitness. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Very good. Very good. John, you brought up the canning line before, and I did see on maybe Crafty Pine or Brews News a while ago that you guys had a bit of a strategy for that, like maybe hiring some people. What's going on with the canning setup?
We need someone to run it, and so it's probably more so than our actual brewery. It's probably the most amount of money we've spent on anything since we opened a brewery, and so keen to have someone who looks after it and looks after it on a full-time basis and keeps it up with all the necessary components. And
very nice.
It is very nice. We're in the middle of trying to commission it right now, which is tedious, but myself and the other brewers are working on that, and we'll probably keep it in-house. I think just the management of it for now. But yeah, so that's it's a big thing for us. A to bring some costs down, and B to just kind of continue to move toward a bit more capacity and flexibility to just do things on our own. So
Yeah. There's nothing more frustrating than, having to fill up, I guess, all those brights and then wait for canning day. And then suddenly, like, brew team is, like, focused on refilling everything and you're just doing the same thing. Like, that flexibility is going to be pretty important, I reckon.
it will be, because it's been a bottleneck before, and it's we had plenty of canning days and all that type of stuff scheduled, but you hit bottlenecks, or you maybe you have a beer that doesn't behave how you'd like it to, or say you have a chiller that breaks down the night before, and you're meant to can the next day, and you can't get another canning day for 2 weeks, say, so it's the unforeseen stuff is it'll be nice for us, just from that entire standpoint. So pretty pumped for it.
You just get the joys of dealing with a canning line that should just always run perfectly, and then starts crimping cans and throwing lids out. And
don't ever wish that kind of stuff.
It's all going to be all good. I'm knocking on wood.
Do not wish that. Kind
that sounds like what we spent today doing for 12 hours.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's like a bit of a network in Australia of people who have run Cody's, and I mean, Cody's are a beautiful piece of kit. But they can cause you some pain. But I mean, you've got Simon, who used to work for East Coast. I know our boy down south, down here, Jimmy Anderson's been running a Cody for about 18 months or 2 years. Basically, him and Shambles saved the
Tassie beer
industry.
Saved the Tassie brewing industry during COVID. Went around and canned everyone's beer for them. If you want that contact, happy to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, we've just opened the Middle Sibling IPA, guys. So this is our first limited from these guys.
Well, we've had the Market Series, the Rosemary.
That's right.
I want to say mulberry.
Yep. Mulberry and apricot.
Delicious.
And apricot.
Yep, that was delicious. And the Double West Coast with the Angry Hop Man on it.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a tasty little beverage.
Yeah, that was...
this is very pretty, though.
Yeah, that's the first thing I said as well. It's like, this is just... I can see my future in this glass, and it's bright and clear, and it's lovely.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, please tell us about this beer while we're drinking about it.
Yeah, it was...
Go for it.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'll let Abby do it.
Oh... but how do you want to explain it, John?
Oh, come on.
No, it's a bit of... It does sit in between our pale and breakaway, really, in terms of kind of our levels of beer. But it was...
levels of beer?
I don't know, just kind of sit in between the IPA and our pale, just our core range. But that's kind of where it slots in. But... It kind of came about from a bit of experimental pale, kind of, in terms of dry hopping regimes, schedules, and just playing around a bit. So, yeah.
It's super nice and clean. Like, it's got some good dryness. The beat of carb is fucking awesome. Very tasty.
Yeah, no, it is. That's very lovely grog. And I'll say it again. Like, we need more beers like this on the regular basis in Australia. I know juice is great. It's always there for you, I guess. But I don't know. I've been really on a hunt for beers.
You've evolved
for clear beers and nice danky numbers, and I struggle a lot of the time. So,
let's put these guys on the spot. The industry in Australia, there's so much focus on releasing new hazy beers all the time. Are you guys jumping on that train? Do you prefer to brew something like this? Let's start with you, John. What do you think about the whole hype train of just continually Citra, Mosaic, Galaxy in different orders on cans?
It's interesting. I'd say it certainly doesn't lend to what we prefer to do for the majority of what we do. I mean, we absolutely love hazy beers, and I mean, there's some crazy good, just juicy beers out there right now, and there's breweries making them all the time on a never-ending rotational basis. But yeah, I think from a bit of a fundamental standpoint, I think we gravitate toward making more of the West Coast style kind of beers, and even when we make a hazy beer, we typically have a bit of bitterness in it because there's something about adding that to the roundness of the beer for us that's making it a more robust beer and also a bit traditional, and I'd say in general we lean toward that type of stuff. So whether it's this is kind of like a West Coast version of a hybrid of our pale and our breakaway IPA that's a bit more approachable on the IPA spectrum, but in just a bit of a West Coast form, or it's if we're brewing a pickle beer, we brew it in a pilsner form, So I think there's something to tradition that kind of holds on to us. But I mean, we've brewed hazy beers before, and I mean we have two in tank right now. So there's something to say for them. People love them, and they're not easy to make either. So it's it's not like a easily disguisable thing, and people are, what's pretty impressive is some of the dry hop rates that are going on out there and how smooth beers are coming out at, as a final product. So, yeah.
I'm glad you touched on your bitterness being part of a haze, because I think we are sort of coming back around to we've had the pure strain of the juice, I guess we could say, in the first couple of years since they became a bit in vogue, especially in Australia now that Australian brewers are getting a lot better at making them and getting a lot closer to the likes of Other Half and Trillium, all those kind of amazing brewers in the US. But being fortunate enough to pick up a couple of cans of Other Half and stuff recently from brewers from Mr. West and stuff like that in Melbourne, who got a good handful of their beers, which has been great. I've sort of noticed that they are bringing back a little bit of bitterness and dankiness back into the haze, which I really did appreciate. So it's good that it is happening in Australia.
I think it comes back to, and I'd be interested to hear your take on this, Abby, because so far the beers you've been talking about liking sound like super drinkable IPAs, and like IPAs like this, which like to me is like, I guess, modern West Coast. Like it's not bitter old school West Coast from 2004 to 10. Do you think like the drinkability of a lot of hazy beers, they're like a one beer and you're like, okay, cool, I'll go back to something else? Do you think that impacts the kind of beers like you want to brew and put out there, or is your taste impacting that?
Maybe a little bit. I just have to agree with what John said, really, is especially with our hazy beers, we do like to add a bit of punch to it, and not make it completely but yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do really enjoy the big punchy IPAs as well, ones that you can only really have a couple of, but I do also enjoy my nice sessionable IPAs. But yeah, I think just trying to make it a little bit more interesting and something a little bit more different to what's all like out there constantly. Yeah, and I do prefer, like, I love my hazies, but I do prefer them with a little bit of a kick as well, as opposed to just being straight fruit juice, really.
Yeah, I think there's a good balance for both.
100%. Yeah.
But I tend to personally, and everyone knows this, reach towards a West Coast IPA more often than not, and I like something that isn't, finishing at 4 or 5 bricks. Like it's just what I like to drink, and I think the Australian climate points towards this style more than it does I can't imagine myself at the pub drinking pint after pint of big, thick hazy. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I feel like a few pints. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked.
Hence why I brought it up. I was like, I'm really struggling to find good, clean IPAs, and
this is bloody lovely.
Now I will be buying a lot more of this lovely stuff, especially more of this pale, guys. Woo-hoo. Really has got me fired up. But touching back on, guys, the with your range, and obviously you've got a really solid core range. I'm a big fan of branding, being I guess, can I say ex-photographer now? I'm not an ex-photographer.
No, you're an ex. You're done.
So I'm quite a visual person.
You quit doing my photography, so fuck you.
Yeah, come on now. Being a very visual person myself, so branding and all that kind of stuff is very important to me, and I will happily say that your branding is maybe some of the best that I've seen recently in Australia. I think it looks...
Especially the merch.
Especially all the merch. Did you have a recent refresh with that? Because I remember I had a bit of a look in a Google search, like the branding on the front of your tap room and brew space was different. So did you actually have a bit of a rebrand recently?
It's evolved a little bit over the last. Yeah, it's evolved a bit over the last 2.5 years. Kind of early days, there was a pretty quick change, and it specifically the front of our building had like a much older logo, and we were waiting on a sign and blah blah blah, and then it got swapped out. But it's still kind of evolving, and I'd probably keep an eye on that space in the pretty near future. But in terms of core range, and then our limiteds, we like to put a fair bit of thought into what's going on there, and put a bit of a story to the beer and to the to the can, and if you'd have seen this middle sibling, the original iteration, it looked like a dude who wanted to neck himself. So, but
okay, right.
Pretty much whenever Ali tries to get a drawing done of me on Fiverr, and I look like the guy from Clerks, like super overweight, weird goatee shit.
That was fun. But my sort of question was, is you've kind of answered it now. Is like I can see a progression and a little bit of a lot of difference with your limited release cans that do look quite a lot different than the core range.
Even progression between like this. Did we just become best friends? Which is great reference to the middle sibling. Like,
and I'm glad that there is a bit of a story there. So that is great, and I do appreciate there are cats on the label as well. So that's always great as well. So there is going to be continual changes with the brand, or slight ongoing tweaks.
Yeah, there'll be some ongoing tweaks. We're about to move into printed cans, fully printed for the core range. So that gives us a bit.
Oh wait, is that a?
So that's
So
that's a strip label on sure. Like a generic printed can,
Yeah, for sure.
But we're kind of moving.
It looks good.
Yeah. So, but we're moving in that direction. There's a handful of reasons, cost being a big one, but of putting a label on a can and all that type of stuff. But it'll be a bit of a. It'll evolve a bit more with that, which is in the pretty near future, and then. Yeah, we'll continue to pump out the limiteds and try to have that design aspect to it, and we try to focus on that from the beer standpoint and also from the design standpoint. And we've just actually brought on a marketing manager who's helped us kind of tidy all that up, because we've had a bit of that not in house because we didn't really have the capability. And we bought Beck on board, and she's a weapon. So she'll help us tidy things up even more.
I think having someone in the marketing, having your own marketing person who is good at either graphic design and socials, all that kind of stuff is now so important when you do have a brewery and you've got a space, because. I find like a lot of branding and stuff in Australia can get lost quite quickly.
There's so many brands out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just wondering, like, so with the limiteds going forward, it seems like, because I just love how all the core range all ties in together. Obviously, that's very important, but is there going to be, a little bit more cohesion with the limiteds going forward? That's sort of where
I feel like respectfully, I think the limiteds feel a bit disconnected right now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You're holding the polar opposites, So between those two, So that's one of the benefits of bringing her on board is we've started to put structure to that, and
hell yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Events at all.
Cohesion and consistency from one to the next in terms of overall structure and
that's great. I can't wait to see what the beers look like when they start coming out, because as I said, I am a big fan of all the merch and all that stuff that you guys doing.
Yeah, you were frothing on the merch when
the website and everything.
He took the hat straight away, and he was just like, "Yeah, this is my hat now."
Yeah,
I'm a hat guy
very
too.
Good, very good. Yeah, I mean, like, before we jump in, I mean, we've tried to get Abby to throw some shade your way, John, and she's been too nice so far. But we do have a segment coming up where she can throw some shade, and then you guys can deal with it on the brew deck tomorrow.
Cool.
But before we do that, I guess we just wanted to talk about what's next for Sea Legs. Like, let's look ahead. Maybe with yourself, Abby. Let's look ahead 12 months. Like, what's coming up? What are you hoping?
Well, I'd say over the next 12 months, Sea Legs, I think I'd just really put all my focus on the beer and just try to make everything as consistent as possible, especially in the core range, and just really try and pump out some really, really nice limited beers that just keep people interested and that people just really enjoy drinking. So I think that's going to be my main focus, is just really looking at the quality of the beer and pretty much just all beer related. Pretty much just pumping out some good brews, hopefully.
That having that taproom aspect for a brewer, for you and John as brewers, does that really help you, like, pumping limiteds out, having access to being able to sell direct to people?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Getting like that direct feedback.
Yeah. I mean, it's always great to I always try and check in with some of the bar staff every now and then just to get some feedback on the beers, and just because I don't really look on any social media things at all, but
smart.
But yeah, it's always just nice to hear feedback just from people that are coming through your tap room and they're enjoying the beer or whatever. So it's always nice to hear.
Definitely. Now, John, looking forward, like dreaming a little bit here, let's think like 5 years ahead. You guys at Sea Legs, what are you doing? Like, what's the vision? What do you want to see at that 5-year mark, besides COVID fucking off?
Well, I'd love to see that. I think, man, it's an interesting one. We're in a bit of a phase where we could look at growing and growing and growing, and I think we're keen to grow, but kind of within our means and within a sustainable kind of and within a sustainable kind of world, where we're not chopping our arm off to get in BWS, around the nation or whatever it might be. And I think a lot of it circles back to, we put a big focus on trying to make everything really well thought out and very authentic. And I think, as soon as we grow outside of that, it's maybe a bit of another story. So, I mean, I think growth for us looks like, absolutely Southeast Queensland and maybe a bit more in terms of what we can support and maximizing our space that we have. I think, a big focus on that is really, really, nailing down our quality and consistency within our core range. So we are kind of always evolving and changing what we're doing in our processes. And there's 4 of us in the actual brewery team, and in terms of the quality of beer, and it's very collaborative in terms of our processes and what we're doing, and where we're missing something or whatever it might be. And I think tidying up the core range to be exactly what we want it to be, and to be exactly at the quality we want it to be, and doing that consistently, I think will be a massive thing. And then continuing to do stuff in the limited space that is whether it's an ode to traditional styles, or it's something completely wacky, or any of that type of stuff, or if it's something barrel aged. I think
Please.
yeah,
Let's do that.
yeah.
And Homestead series.
Keep your
please.
ears out for that
Please.
as well. Yeah, and then that'll continue on a bit as well. And I think it's make good beer and keep people intrigued, and continue to be creative, and grow within our means, and grow within our kind of ideals of being authentic, which when you get to a certain point where Abby doesn't have to open every single valve to on our entire manifold to go from the mash tun to the lauter tun, it's yeah, I don't think there's anything more authentic than that. But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing, so. And
staying true to yourself.
Yeah. So I think our presence, we're keen to keep it local and keep it within our means, and distribute outside of that to a certain extent, because we absolutely want to get our beers around Australia to what we can manage. And we've done a little bit of that, and we try to keep it fairly focused to where we're doing it. And so I think that's that. And I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe open another venue or two, but I don't know that I'd say a production brewery, but certainly another venue or two. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of brewers get caught in that production standpoint and trying to understand, do I grow beyond this level? Should I go to the next level, and do I just become a full production BWS Dan Murphy's brewery, or am I I imagine that you'd still have a lot of friends over in Colorado, and the States, the scene over there has adapted to be so much more neighborhood focused.
Totally.
And even in Australia now, we have 700 craft breweries. It's insane. So yeah, really refreshing to hear someone seeing that future and thinking about it now.
Yeah,
it's exciting for Sea Legs. I like it.
Yeah, I think
can't wait to visit one day.
Yeah, man, you have to check it out.
Yeah.
We need to do I think Clint and I have been discussing that we definitely need to pop up to Queensland, maybe for Gabs next year.
Mainly because we're being harassed by so many brewers.
And we have a lot of
for
mates
not
up
showing
in Queensland.
love.
Yeah, but we are big fans of a lot of Queensland beer at the moment.
We are.
There's a lot of good stuff up there, so it's a very exciting scene.
Very strong scene.
Yeah,
very strong.
100%. Well, with that all being said, guys, I've got one last little thing for you both. You know it's coming, and I know you're both very, very excited about it.
Don't be nervous.
Don't be nervous at all. It is Give Us Your Gaps Pitch. Let's do it. Give us your Gaps pitch. I want it now. I want it good. Give us your Gaps pitch. Please and thank you. Sorry about that jingle, guys.
It's always nice to.
It's a bit raw.
It's always nice to play it to someone who hasn't listened to the show.
Yeah,
so many brewers have,
yeah.
and it's just keep it going, and so many also haven't.
There's another minute of that. That's another minute of it playing in the background right now. So, I can still hear it. Yeah, no,
hear that.
Fade that down. It's very embarrassing. Anyway, I recorded it. It's all me. Now, guys, give us your Gabs pitch. We're gonna now that we've got two of you here.
That's a very tidy looking beverage.
Yeah, we're cracking your. Did we just become best friends? I know it's a Step Brewers reference. So that's we do like that a lot.
You didn't have to do that.
No, you didn't have to do it. It's fine. It's all good. So with Give Us Your Gabs pitch, you guys will be competing against each other one at a time, giving us a beer that you don't have to brew. Don't worry. It can be as silly or as adventurous or plain as you like, but a beer that you think personally could take out Gabs in 2022 for People's Choice.
Now, we've got a bit of an update on this.
Right.
We've had so many brewers pitching, and I mean, you've pitched. I can't even remember what you were going to make. Maybe a smooge clone?
I think that was something like that. Yeah.
A smooge clone. Now, we've had so many brewers pitching that when we get to 100 beers, we're going to have a hottest 100 Gabs pitches.
Ah.
So, I mean, there is pressure. There is pressure.
Okay, right.
And won't it be a terrible list?
It'll be a very interesting list. So, for example, we've had Fixation. We've had Tom Delmont. What was it? Like a poo beer.
No, so
essentially,
Tom Delmont wanted to use the dregs from a brew day from the drain to make what he called a spontaneous fixation drain beer, which was interesting.
So that's kind of the competition you're up against. So don't feel too threatened. I'm gonna go with John first. I'm gonna mix it up here. So John, fire away, all the best, and see if Abby can trump you.
Well, as much as I want to say a remake of our Gabs beer this year, I'm not. I think we've had a beer that's come from a similar kind of inspiration before, but we've got one of the guys who works in our venue, Declan. He's formerly of Saccharomyces. You may or may not know him, but he has this.
We know him very well. He's a Steppies judge. He was. Now he's excluded because he works for you guys.
That's fair. So he has this thing in our cold room that's Declan's. I think it says Declan's fermented fun stuff or something like that. And there's a fair bit of stuff in there, whether it's hot sauce or sauerkraut or whatever. But we had a pineapple jalapeno beer that was kind of inspired by a pineapple jalapeno hot sauce that Brendan had actually made. But I'm kind of leaning in the direction of a fermented beetroot sauerkraut that he made. Something along those lines.
Okay. My Austrian in me is saying hello.
Yeah, right.
I'm liking that.
Yeah.
Throw that with a sausage.
What are you going to call this fermented? What are you going to call this fermented beetroot beer we're going to drink with sausage? Because we do love sausage.
We do love sausage.
I have no idea.
We'll leave that with you.
Let's just call it fermented beetroot beer with sausage. I think that's quite an appealing name.
I feel like if you put meat in your beer at Gabs, you automatically get in a newspaper. Shout out to Willie the Boatman.
Yeah, they did the lamb souvlaki this year.
Call it purple kraut beer.
Purple kraut.
Purple kraut.
I don't mind it.
I think the colour of it would be...
the colour would win you.
Very Currumbin Valley-esque, which has been successful in the past. So you might be onto a winner. You never know. All right, Abby. Off you go. Good luck.
Let's do it.
It's funny you mentioned meat because I've always wondered what like a Sunday roast, like a lamb roast or something would be.
That's so Australian.
Rosemary.
I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know what was going through my head, but someone mentioned meat and I'm like, oh, lamb's good. And then reminded me of roast. And I was like, well, if you could chuck in some like potatoes and peas and stuff and gravy, maybe a bit of mint jelly. I don't know.
Your poor,
I don't know where my head's
your
going.
poor brew system is all
That
over
sounds
this.
fucking awful.
It sounds
What's the
awful.
base beer, though?
I
Is
don't know where my head was going.
Is it going to be a sour or is it going to be a stout? Like, what kind of base are we thinking with the
It'd have to be a stout, I'd say.
Okay, rich and thick. I like.
And just call it Sunday roast or something, maybe.
God.
It's going to get the attention.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely draw some eyes at Gab. So you've gone with the hypey kind of people's they want to try it. So
A few of the one of the big Japanese brewers, is it Kodo, do like a sweet potato beer.
okay.
So I'm like, I don't know. I suppose you can ferment potatoes. I've heard of vodka.
Look, if we've had lamb souvlaki, I'm sure we can have a lamb roast. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
So
I'm down. I love lamb roast.
there you go.
Ooh, who have you got? Who are you trying here?
Well, I did have Willie the Boatman, and I thought I was absolutely going to hate it, but I had a sip of actually Emily's, I think, from memory, and I wouldn't have more than I had, but I'm glad I tried it because it was actually pretty bang on what I thought it would taste like. It tastes
Don't mind
exactly
rosemary
like
beer. Don't mind rosemary
Yeah,
beer.
it can work very well. Now these guys have done it very well in the past. Why can't they do it again? I'm going to go with Abby.
I'm going with John.
Yeah,
he's playing to my Austrian heritage. I just want that purple kraut, baby.
Yeah, no, it felt weird going against the sausage, but I do like a bit of roast. So,
No, I do love a bit of roast too. Well, we're going to have to call that a draw.
Yep.
Unless producer M wants to jump in, but otherwise, going to have to call that a draw.
there you go. Cool. There you go. Well,
All right.
you guys can fight that
There you
out
go,
amongst
John.
yourselves at the on the brew deck tomorrow to see
Yeah,
what you're going to.
Good luck roasting 400 lamb carcasses tomorrow. Abby,
Thank you. Thanks. I'll need it.
You've brought this on yourself, and
I have.
the base plate.
I've got no one else to blame.
The base plate of the mash tun is going to be. It's not going to be sticky at all.
No. It'll be right.
Yeah,
It'll be fine.
it'll be fine. It's worth it.
It is. It is.
Very good.
Well, tonight's episode has been proudly brought to you by Preachers Hobart, our fucking Patreon, and Sip, Skip or Cellar, now brought to you by The Great Beyond, Coburg. And if you haven't seen our little skits supporting The Great Beyond, you're very lucky. And if you have seen them, get on the website, check out what's down there, maybe buy a couple of cans of Foreigner.
Yes.
Get around the crew.
Yes, 100%.
Good people.
And obviously, we do thank John and Abby for joining us on episode 72 of the Step Brewers podcast. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, man.
It's been a lot of fun. We definitely need more Sea Legs beers down in Tassie, so we will be telling everyone to be getting on the website and buying some of that hot merch to go with
Well,
it. So,
you're industry now. Do you need some Sea Legs beers at your venue?
yes, well, we are working on a bottle shop at the moment, so I will most likely be in contact in some way or shape or form. So,
And I will say that this did we just become best friends? Dedication to Step Brewers because you won the Steppy Award this
that's
year.
very kind.
It's a very nice touch. Topher hasn't done his collab beer with us yet.
No.
He's stopped returning my calls.
Yep.
But you know what? Sometimes Topher, he's aloof. He's a beautiful man.
That's fine. Very good. We'll get out of here. Thanks again. This has been Step Brewers Podcast. We'll see you on the next one.
You.
Thanks for listening to the Step Brewers podcast. If you like the show, be sure to rate, subscribe, and leave a review to help other beer lovers discover the podcast.